welcome back, boys and girls. The Overwatch World Cup 2018 action continues here in Incheon, South Korea. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule so you guys can have a look at how the action's been going so far today. We just saw the boys from Finland take the stage against Team Hong Kong. They were able to roll their way all the way to victory. And up next, we get to see Team Russia in action once again against Team Japan. We're going to be seeing them for the first time. Now, for those of you who don't know about Team Japan, last year they came onto the scene unexpected to do anything or make any noise, and they almost made it out of their group. They're going to be back today with a far more formidable team that's been playing in contenders, ready to take on Team Russia. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we have our big match with Finland taking on South Korea. Pretty much the match of the group that everybody's looking forward to. But anyways, guys, getting back to that Team Japan versus Team Russia matchup. It's a big one. Of course, Russia, the runner-ups from the first World Cup, and then Team Japan, they're coming in here looking quite formidable. Guys, I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get straight into this, guys. Don't sleep on Team Japan. And with that, we're going to go ahead and send it over to the casters to set up the match. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Malik. Down on the stage, Russia versus Japan up next. Second time we're seeing Russia today, and their spirit's pretty high right now, I can imagine. 3-4-0s, in fact, throughout so far.
Yeah, I imagine they're feeling pretty strong after their showing against Hong Kong today. Their DPS coming out in clutch, but like Malik said, you cannot sleep on Japan. They did very well last year, and this time they're coming in with a new and improved roster.
New and improved, and an entire roster, in fact. They come all the way from the Pacific Division, the Pacific contenders, and you've got to say, they're looking rather scary, because this is an entire roster all made up of Cyclops players. My goodness, it's quite the feat. However, Russia coming in strong now. You can see the roster on your screen. You've got Shadowburn and Mistakes all the way from the OWL.
And then we've got Eng, Chow, Tonic, Main coming through from EU contenders. Most of these guys play for Team Windstrike. Tonic is not currently in a team, but he has played in EU contenders before. Yeah,
they got Unfix on the bench also, so they can sub him out when necessary. There you go. There's Team Japan up on your screen. That's formidable roster. All this synergy coming through already. Been playing together for so long. First place in their group in Pacific. Also, pretty scary.
Mission of Japan, do not let anyone sleep any longer on Overwatch in the Pacific Division. And one man who I'm going to be keeping my eye on in particular is Depp right there. Apparently, he's a Widowmaker god.
Yeah, oh yes he is. That's what everybody's been saying on Team Japan. And I want to say also, you know, he did mention when we talked to him a couple of days ago that he looks up to Carpe. So that match should be interesting in and of itself. And his Widow play better be up to scratch also, because we are going against Shadowburn and Mistakes.
Yeah, he's on the biggest stage now. If he can really try and go up against Carpe one-to-one, or go up against Linkser or Taimu, or even going up against Mistakes on this Russian roster, he's going to catch some eyes who are going to look towards the Pacific region and look towards their team, Cyclops Athlete Gaming, and see what talent is coming out of there.
Oh yeah, exactly that. There's always been a fair few Widow players up in the World Cup, but today we get to see Japan and their stuff and what they're made of. I want to see what maps we're going to get into, though. Should be coming up on your screen right now. There you go. Oasis will be our control, obviously followed by Hybrid, Assault, rounding it out with Escort.
And Oasis has a little bit of variance as to what kind of comps you'll be seeing stage by stage. On the University stage, which I do believe we'll be starting off on, you will see a bit more tank play. Usually, what is currently in vogue is the 3-3, 3 tanks, 3 supports, Jaws, and we'll have to see if that's what our team's going to bring out. If we're going to be something a little bit more frisky, a little bit experimental, show off some new stuff.
Show us off some new tech. We also see a lot of fire. Don't forget, don't sleep on the fire either in this university map. Can control the skies. You wouldn't normally put fire in a place where you can't really hide all too well and like with an actual ceiling on top. But the problem is there's only 2 giant choke points that the enemy team can come through. So it's extremely easy to put up ult charge very aggressively with the fire, just landing so many rockets. And with that damage boost as well from Mercy, can just leave the other team in disarray.
When we talk about pharmacies on control, it's all about winning that first fight, George. You need to be in control so that you can pummel the opposing team as they come through those tight chokes that you mentioned. If you can't have control as a pharmacy, it's far harder to try and take this point than it is to defend it with that particular composition, because you've got to fly low or go around the outside and then have a less of an optimal angle to try and spam into your enemies and get that damage done to build up towards a barrage.
Well, here they go, rolling out the gate already. Japan coming out with the Hanzo and with Depp actually on the McCree instead. Widow not so great on this map, so it's not too much of a surprise. Mistakes and Shadow Shadowburn. They're going to do something a little bit different with Shadowburn running that Pharah.
Anakin going to be coming out on the Hanzo. He's got his eyes on the skies. He's got his eyes on Shadowburn as well, but can't quite connect there. He's instead going to settle for a couple of rockets, or rather a couple of arrows onto the tank line. Japan have already found themselves buying space, but Tonic trying to deny them such.
Yeah, Samurai D in the corner there, you can see, doing a good job of helping them push round. Mistakes is already going to go down to the Storm Arrow of Anakin, and that does mean with one DPS down, in fact a tank down as well now for Japan, they're actually going to be able to push forward. Russia in disarray, it seems, doesn't like that Zenyatta. Almost got picked off, although Anakin just sparing his life for the time being. Resurrection onto Tonic, so they only need to wait for one member.
Japan there, forced to make a choice. They could either stay on the point and try and make sure they can consolidate that capture, or they could go out and challenge Eng as he got the res. Japan decided to take the safe option, keep Samurai D on the point and make sure that he was safe. Shadowburn here with a pocket, trying his best to go up against Step, but neither of them is going to take that fight for long.
This boy is so damn accurate already. Tonic is going to fall to Depp. And now Amaken moving forward, trying to get a bit of ult charge. As you can see, he did manage to hit Shadowburn in air. He's going to get healed up rather quickly, and that does net Aang with an ultimate also. But he's going to have to match Claire with a Valkyrie as well. And I want to keep an eye on Depp again, because look, now he has this Deadeye. If he sits up on this high ground, it's going to be so hard for Shadowburn and Aang to enter with that Valkyrie.
Well, let me tell you something about Russia, Jaws. Right now, if Shadowburn demands so much attention from Aang to try and keep up with the damage that Depp is putting out, it means that healing isn't available for the rest of Russia. They've used the Valkyrie, so the beam splitting is there.
Deadeye is there from Dead, but he uses it for a mere reload for the time, and you can see mistakes on the sidelines also. Anakin launches the dragon straight in on top of Tonic, ends up falling, and there goes Chow as well. Samurai D holding fast straight on top of that point. No one gets past this man.
Aang left to have another resurrection here, which means Tonic's moving back onto a point. It's a little bit dangerous for Samurai D to go forward. He's trying to knock Tonic off.
Oh, nice hammer to the ground by Tonic, but he lets down the shield for a moment. Gets headshotted by Anakin as he does unleash the arrow. Shadowburn is going to come up with a kill also. In fact, too, as Anakin falls down, but you can see now he is retreating. He has to fall back. He doesn't really have this front line, this tankiness from the rest of his squad. They are coming back from the spawn, and Chow has the grab still.
Yeah, he does. That's going to be absolutely imperative to use. Mistakes can try and combine it with the Deadeye here, but we've got to worry about Samurai D with that shield. Tonic's going to have to run through with a charge, but it's inside.
There's the grab straight on top of Kenmo. Deb is going to take out Aang, and in fact, Anakin picking up another kill. Samurai D just pushing forward now, trying to punish Chow for every step he makes. He is going to go down as the Discord orb landed on top of him. Overtime was not enough for Mistakes to get on the point. Oh my goodness, he managed to take out Depp in the end, but it wasn't quite enough. University goes to Japan 100-0.
100-0, Jaws. Do not sleep on Pacific. They are definitely here to prove that. Maybe a little bit of a problem there for Claire, but I don't think there are any problems with his gameplay. It's been perfect thus far. I don't think we've actually seen Claire die.
Immortal is the man in the white there. Those Japan jerseys looking pretty clean as well.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be buying one of those later.
Looks like we're jumping over to Gardens as our next map, and hey, what's good on Gardens?
More
It's
Pharah.
that Pharah.
Indeed, but you know what else is good at shutting down a Pharah? A Widowmaker, Jaws. And that's exactly what we said Depp would be fantastic at, but he's got his work cut out for him, because not only is he worrying about Shadowburn up in the air, he's worrying about mistakes all over the place. Not just down on the ground, but he can go for soak shots, he can be up in the air, he can be down in the ground, he can be round a corner on a flank. Depp's going to have to watch all of these as we move in towards a point.
Anakin on the Pharah versus Shadowburn. We've already seen what Shadowburn can do today on this Pharah. So many direct rockets. Anakin going very low, actually hits the floor, and Mistakes punishes him for it as well. Beautiful angle there coming through from the Widowmaker from Russia. Does mean they're going to get out to priority here. You see Japan instantly backing off. As soon as they lose one member, they know they cannot win the fight.
Depp was playing that far more passively for Mistakes. Mistakes went forward knowing he would have the support of his tank line and his supports, whereas Japan, they sort of all came through in a single angle. They put more resources into making sure Anakin could stay for a while.
Ooh, Mistakes coming up. Clutch on Depp, does find the headshot. Is going to get jumped on. However, that grappling hook on the 8-second cooldown isn't going to be too much a worry for him. However, with Anakin finding Shadowburn here, he's a bit out of way. Also, that does mean there's no resurrection going to be there. Shadowburn extremely still dead, and then we do have Mistakes available with that Infocytes. He's not going to use it just yet, although you can see Anakin just pummeling the back line. Tonic forced to retreat, didn't have the bubble, and ends up going down. And now Anakin's just farming heads, and in fact, Mistakes is going to do exactly the same thing. Problem is, Depp was there to match him with the kill, and now he's on the high ground. No way Aang is going to be able to survive this one. Just buying more time, 37%. Make that 38 for the side of Russia as Japan get the recap.
But now this is the hardest place for a pharmacy combo to be, to try and take back a point. Like we said at the beginning of University, it's so much much easier to defend with a pharmacy than it is to attack. And now Japan are exactly where they want to be. And Dep, he's got this Infrasight. He's popped it slightly after Mistakes as well, so is he going to run out slightly later? He's going to have an advantage for just a couple of seconds. Mistakes has been called out, Jaws.
Early Valve
That was a
Eng
mistake.
as well. Cannot get on top of Mistakes. He is going to get pocketed, though only just. Anakin finishes him off with a rocket, self-destruct on the point. D-Mex Chow out of the mech, can't do much at all in the Baby Diva form. And you can see Dep somehow still alive. There's like 4 people jumping on him, but the rest of Team Japan jumps on him and saves him with good measure, and he is able to build up to another emphasize very soon. 32% already, but Anakin was pummeling the front line. You could see Russia, just so many resources actually used to try and kill Dep there, that Anakin was just free to lay down rocket after rocket.
Dep there was channeling his inner Genji, was going all over the place. He was able to avoid 2 tanks, and not only that, he baited Chow down into the self-destructive Kenmo, which meant that he was absolutely quickly DMX'd, and now Anakin's looking for a way in with this barrage. They have forced out the Transcendence, which is a perfect scenario here for Japan. That's not going to be available for Russia now.
Samurai D activating the Primal Rage. Sonic's going to do exactly the same thing, but he finds a kill with it already. Anakin gets met in the skies as Shadowburn is there with the final rocket to finish him off. And now it's all about a game of ultimates. Japan not using any of theirs just yet. They know this barrage will be better saved for another fight. They're just going to jump on the point and hopefully die on it to make sure they buy each individual percent. 80% now for Japan as it does flip over to Russia once more.
In the midst of that chaos, Dep did win out the sniper duel again against Mistakes. He's here to show everyone exactly what he is made of. But now Japan are in the hot seat. They are 15% away from winning Oasis, but they still need to win one fight, and Russia are coming up on a couple of ultimates. They have the barrage ready. They have the self-destruct. We know what Chow can do with these, and they have the Valkyrie as well. But Japan, they're going to match Valkyrie for Valkyrie. They can match barrage for barrage, and Dep, he's already used his Infrasights.
It's how quickly he's getting them. Mistakes is only on 70% now, and Dep actually wins that duel
like
also. But Shadowburn, 2-timing rocket onto Claire is going to take him out of the skies. Japan are going to sit on the point, almost cap it in fact. That's about 2/3 of the way. Anakin's ult gets almost completely eaten, turns away from the Diva, but still ends up going down. Fragile in the air as his main does end up throwing a couple of orbs his way. And now Sabagod retreating also. Japan, they do have one more fight in them. 82% now available for Russia. Does mean they are having one fight territory right now. Japan need to be able to clutch it out in the end, but they've only got that self-destruct.
An unfortunate mistake there for Claire. I think as he got double tapped by the rockets from Shadowburn, he did pop his Valkyrie. Speaking of double taps, Shadowburn going to be putting one onto Anakin. Dep's going to have to try and figure this one out by himself, but the res has come through from Claire, and now overtime is in session.
Infosights there for Mistakes as well. He's got his eyes on the prize, and he's
flank.
got his eyes on the background as well. Misses the shot, and Sabagod, he does manage to hit the body shot, but Anakin's there to save him. Transcendence on the point also coming through from Russia, but another beautiful Shadowburn rocket coming through onto Kenmo's mech. Does get demeched in the end, but Shadowburn, look, he's retreating now. 6 HP, no dreams left either. Gets chased down by Samurai D. Overtime is there, and Russia end up getting team killed. Japan are going to reclaim the point.
And now Japan are in one fight territory to claim their first map here in the Overwatch World Cup. They could go up 1-0 here in Oasis if they can hold this for one more fight. Russia are coming in. They don't have many ultimates. They got a self-destruct. Mistakes has moved over. He no longer wants to play on the Widow. Instead, he's on the Tracer. Main's over from the Zenyatta onto the Lucio, bringing everyone back fast, but Dep's already put him down.
Dep's already clicked on Mistakes head. He's going to fall. Main is going to go down as well. The Lucio change over from the Zenyatta's already dead. Self-destruct catches Anakin a little bit off guard, but Dep is still alive on the sidelines. Shadowburn's also dead. Mistakes now coming back from spawn, but it might be too little too late.
Rest in
What was
pieces.
that? Dep just killing member after member. Russia is just going to fall here. Dep solo carrying this endpoint, 99%, and now it's a trickling of members coming through for Russia. Chow eventually goes down. Main just melts in the face of that rocket barrage, and Dep high and dry up in the sky. Japan secure Oasis.
Russia looked so powerful earlier. They took the 4-0 against Hong Kong, but against the might of Japan, not quite so powerful. 2-0 on Oasis, carried forth by not only DPS play, but fantastic support play and fantastic tank play as well. Kenmo there, being incredibly useful on the Diva, always making sure he's in the right place. Samurai bought so much room. I don't think we saw Sabagod die. The guy just threw out orb after orb. You can see that Dep there is very happy with himself, and you should be.
Yeah, Samurai D is having a little chuckle as well. He knows what he did.
You know what you did.
Dep was the guy that the entire team said, you know, who's going to pop off? And they all kind of pointed and looked at him and said, yeah, Deb is the guy
this
to
guy's
watch.
going to pop off.
He did just that. The reason why these Widows can do such things is because you got people like Samurai D on your side. Like, he's protecting you through in and out. Even Sabagod didn't really die too much on the Zenyatta. Always had the back of his Widow player, just making sure he get the Discord Orbs and the Harmony Orbs where necessary. And that Discord Orb is so strong also. A nice body shot with a Discord Orb on a tank, that's not a lot of health remaining.
Yeah, Shadowburn was always under pressure in the sky, whether it was from Kenmo, from Deb, or from Amakin going in for a 1 versus 1 in the air with a Pharah. They tend to trade out rather evenly. Shadowburn occasionally managed to get clear with the old double tap and managed to finish off Amakin when he was in a less of an ideal situation. Like we saw Amakin do 2 shots onto a D.Va mech and really damage himself. That meant that a 1 shot coming through from Shadowburn could take him out.
Got to change off the Pharah, man. If you're going against Depp, there's no way you can have that Pharah out there. And even Eng was a little bit scared as well. Did get taken out of the air a couple of times by Depp. However, it is going to be Russia's map pick now for the first time today.
And we're going to be moving over to Hybrid. They've got the choices of Eichenwald, Kings Row, Blizzard World, or Numbani. And given what we know about the compositional structure that we could see out of Russia, I think Numbani would probably be a good idea. You could go on those dive DPS, you could put mistakes on Tracer, put Shadowburn on Genji, just let them do what they do.
Might be the best also because then you don't have to play Depp on his Widowmaker. Doesn't look like it's going to be Eichenwald, however, chosen by Russia. Okay, so you can play a lot of fire on this, so we want to see Shadowburn maybe on that. You don't normally see defensive Widows, but if Depp's on fire right now, just put him on it. He's going to click people.
Yeah, Depp is going to click on people, but we know that Mistakes and Shadowburn want to do exactly that as well. Maybe they'll be feeling a little bit frustrated after that map 1, need to sort of like regain some honor.
Regain some honor, exactly that. And I want to say, he did say, Depp, in the pre-interviews that I look up to Carpe, and you can see why. Clearly studying Carpe's positioning and timing of the Widowmaker grapple just so well, coming out with kills like that. A little bit of a highlight reel at the end of it. But look on the side of Russia, already won 4-0 today. You got to say they've got a lot of fuel in their tanks still left to burn.
Yeah, they can still go for more, and of course this is their map pick, so we can assume they've got some special plans being cooked up here. The question is, what does Japan have here? We do know that they are a full team, Cyclops Athlete Gaming, so we can imagine that they've scrimmed this map quite extensively across their contender seasons. I'm not sure if it's in the Pacific pool.
Well, talking about scrims, in fact, we did talk to them and say, you know, who have you been practicing against? Who do you normally practice against? Obviously, they said a lot of those Pacific teams, but they also practice a couple of Korean teams as well. People like Runaway also, and in fact, Depp said himself, you know, he's pretty good when it comes matches up against people like Stitch, and you can kind of see why already. They are going to be on the defense first, and doesn't look like we're going to see Amakin on that Pharah. No surprise, honestly. We do see it a whole bunch as the clock tower provides so much defense.
Yeah, running around that clock tower, or the flying or floating around that clock tower as the Pharah is one of your main sort of source of defense on this first point as the aerial DPS, because you can always play around a different angle. You know that if a Widowmaker's coming through, you can get some information coming through from your team to tell you where the Widowmaker is, and then you play on the opposite side of a tower. You just pummel down on tanks or the backline, whatever you think would be good as a target.
Well, speaking of targets, I mean, I want to see Mistakes from this Hanzo just go full in. We know how good they are at dive DPS, and it might be something they want to switch up to in a second as soon as they see Depp on this Widowmaker. The best thing about, the easiest thing about killing a Widowmaker, well, you just dive on her with loads of dive DPS, and again, Genji just trying to get a deflect or something, right?
She's only got 200 health, boys.
Exactly. 200 health and a grapple to get her out of there. You force that, it's pretty much a free kill. Absolutely.
Speaking of free kills, Shadowburn's currently got his eyes on Amakin, but it's not going to be 3 at all. He does have a damage boost, but he's not managing to connect the shot, so going to have to reuse those boosters, go back over, and now Amakin's ready to try and challenge him out. But you can see here what we talked about, the use of architecture as a Pharah to give yourself that perfect cover. You can't have shields up in the air unless like a Winston comes up and drops one. So instead, you've got to try and use architecture to your advantage.
Exactly that. Well, they know Depp has and is on the Widowmaker right now. He's hit a couple of shots, up to 40% charge already. Samurai D taken fairly low by Shadowburn, doing a good job of that, but a direct rocket from Shadowburn will send him packing for the time.
Indeed it will. Shadowburn still looking for these rockets, but he's not being able to claim much purchase yet. One onto Amakin, he's looking for the second, but the healing is there, and so is Depp.
He was waiting for him as soon as he reached around that clock tower. Instant kill. Chow does take out Samurai D. And remember, Japan don't have the spawn advantage here. It will be in the favor of Russia. And they are going to get the resurrection onto Shadowburn. Extremely low is the Mercy. And Depp has actually spotted out theirs. Eng going extremely low. Can't quite get him just yet. But he has got those emphasized.
Chow there did a great job of denying the res from Claire by going in with a boot. They couldn't quite finish off the kill, but it did mean that Samurai was staying down. You can see right there, he's returned to a fray. Looking for a deep dive into the bag, but who needs it? Depp wants to again, just showing off.
Look how aggressive he's playing as well, just didn't really care. His tanks were airborne also, so Shadowburn had two options there. He needed to get away, yes, but he was either looking towards the tanks or trying to dislodge Depp. He chose tanks and Depp ended up killing him.
Choose one and you'll lose to the other. Japan here have already held for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and they've got 4 ultimates to their name. Samurai's coming up on one quickly, as is Depp. This looks absolutely unbreakable here. But Russia, they do have the self-destruct to try and blow this wide open.
Well, this is why we're talking about the synergy from the team, as they are a full team in the Pacific Contenders slot. Anakin has got Rocket Barrage, like you just very well mentioned. Depp almost hitting that headshot, very close once again. Already Shadowburn punishing Anakin there for going for a little bit of a too risky of a Rocket Barrage.
In too deep to res as well. Claire tried, it was risky, and Shadowburn got him too, but Eng's down, and that may well start to even things up. Mistakes coming deep on the Tracer.
He wants to kill Depp, that's all he wants to do. Mistakes is going to go down
Nice
though to a bomb. Kembo finds the kill easy. Tonic chasing Depp. In fact, he's going to use that Primal Rage,
Back to
but
the Mercy,
already is
though.
a Mercy. No, she's flying away. 6 HP, there we go. Finally got him. Claire, he's got your back.
He does indeed, but Chow is on the point, so Samurai is going to need some help here. Up into the sky goes to self-destruct. Namakan around the tower. Great evasion there from the Farah.
Chow does get the remake and is going to go back onto that point, and now he's going to focus down Depp. He's also got someone else in his sight. Sabagod is going to fall. Chow trades his mech for 2 kills. That's perfect for Russia.
And now Shadowburn has the barrage in his back pocket. He's got his eyes on Namakan. He's got the first rocket. Can he get the second? There it is. It's a clean sweep for Russia. They took their time with it, Jaws, but they have capped first point.
They only had 1 minute remaining. That adds up to about 3 minutes and 20 seconds now. They do need to move through the gate. No swap-ups here for Japan. They want to just keep on this Farah Widow DPS combo, but Mistakes, he's got the Pulse Bomb, and they've even got a support ultimate awaiting for them too. Sabagod hasn't got his yet, 10% away.
Mistakes knows that he can potentially stick a target easily if they're looking over onto the low ground and don't expect him coming back. Sabagod would probably be his main target here. Can try and take him out before that Transcendence. Here he goes in with the Pulse Pistols, not using it this time. Can he force a Trans? Doesn't matter. Managed to take him out before that's the case.
Oh, the Pulse Bomb! Oh, he just got him as well! He tapped into it! Oh! Didn't quite get the stick, but corralled him straight into the line of sight. Anakin's going to take out Shadowburn, however, and there is a resurrection onto Depp also.
Indeed, there is. Mistakes, just cleaning up the pieces. Depp finds himself all alone, can try to grapple out, and Tonic not brave enough to try and finish that one out, but Mistakes, he's feeling a little bit braver.
He's feeling extremely brave. Sabagod is going to punish him for it. Mistakes taking out Dead. That's a big DPS boon now down for the side of Japan. Tonic is going to corral the point with that Primal Rage. In fact, back up to the high ground. That resetting of the jump always gets me sometimes.
And it feels like this payload, Jaws, has been moving uncontested thus far. Japan have never really got the ideal sort of fight that they wanted, so they couldn't get on the cart. Main's already down, but he's been traded out for Depp, and still the cart is moving. You need to contest Japan.
Chow sent in another Diva Bomb to try and get the Farah. This time around, she did dip into the moat of the castle and just survived. Shadowburn is going to take out Claire once more, and that will be a big self-destruct on the point. Again, it does actually force out the Transcendence here. Russia are going to have to move forward it rather quickly. Anakin falls, now be Depp taken out main. He's jumped onto his Tracer of his own, wants to show Mistakes what he's made of.
Mistakes here, going to be playing Gatekeeper, trying to make sure people can't get onto the car, but the tank line of Japan is there. Anakin's made an emergency swap over, wants to go on the Brigitte, and they're trying to bring this back.
They're still doing it, they're touching the car, making sure it doesn't get delivered to those gates. Samurai ID taking out Chow's mech. Kenmo there to actually finish them all up. Mistakes escapes with an inch of HP, but it will be the forced reset here for Russia.
Some great play there from the tank line of Japan, but Deb's getting a little bit greedy there, but Main's going to shut you down. Oh.
Not when you want to be with your
can't
Tracer.
test the Zenyadas, man.
Nope. A headshot, easy. Even with a Discord Orb, you're pretty much there. There's no way you're actually going to survive that. And with that man advantage, Japan are going to get forced back. Deb has spawned, and he has got the Pulse Bomb available, but to give up a lot of space to Russia. Shadowburn with the ultimate still has to use it very wisely, as we do have Emikin actually on the Brigitte now, who can maybe finish him off with a whip shot. In the back line, Main is extremely vulnerable, but to the rescue comes his Mercy, but you can't quite rescue him from that. No healing going to do it for you, but Eng, look at that aggressive res. Chow was there to protect him for the entire time, and he managed to kill Deb. Self-destruct onto the point, finds 2, Kenmo dead, Sabagod goes down also, and Shadowburn with the victory barrage is going to find the last kill onto Amican and deliver the point to the castle.
Chow putting on a highlight reel there, he goes in for a body block, he defends Eng during a stupidly aggressive res, or a super aggressive res, shall we say. It's not stupid if you trust in Chow, I trust in Chow, he's fantastic. And then he gets the kill onto Deb, moves forward with the self-destruct, gets the supports as well, and secures the point for Russia, who now have 1 1 minute and 43 seconds to try and push through a third point of Eichenwald. But Japan, they're going to try and mix things up a little. They're going 3-3.
3-3 in the castle, extremely hard to deal with, but not too hard for Shadowburn. Transcend is now forced out from Sabogod. Does mean everybody's nice and healthy for the time, but Shadowburn still uncontested in mid-air on this Farah. Kenmo finds Chao's mech and finds Chao himself, but with Sabogod dead, Tonic's gonna have to come up clutch here. Finishes off Samurai ID with a Goomba Stomp. They are on the cart still, but this 3-3 is incredibly hard to actually dislodge.
Tonic doing a great job there of isolating Samurai D out of range of his healers, because all of them were proximity-based healers. And now Anakin does have a rally, but everyone's falling down before he can get to them. Shadowburn just rocket after rocket, trying to break people down. He's bobbed towards this barrage door, so now we can try and lock down one of these points of ingress as Japan comes through. They're coming in with a rally, but look, Shadowburn is ready to go.
Hiding on the chandelier, doesn't want to mess with a Diva, but wants to mess with a Zarya. Shield instantly eaten there by the rockets. Self-destruct coming out also onto the point. It's going to kill Tonic. He didn't have bubble up in time, so couldn't shield the rest of his team. Eng there with the emergency res. Still, Tonic in the backline all alone. Has to be very careful. Another bubble comes down, but Shadowbird is alive and did take out Kenmo also. The Graviton Surge onto the point. This is the ultimate they were looking for, and it does manage to kill Tonic and kill off Shadowburn as well. Depp comes up big in the end. This Zarya, very, very strong. If he's a good Widow, good Tracer, of course he's going to be a good Zarya as well.
Well, going a little bit close. Two of those pulse storms coming out from mistakes, but isn't going to be falling this time. Only just 300 damage now. Won't one-shot Yazaya, and now Depp is moving forward so aggressively, looking at Tonic coming in on that Reinhardt. The Samurai D's there as well. You've got to look at your back, though. There is going to be a Brigade of Ed guarding the payload. 3 seconds to go. They need to touch. This is Russia's last chance.
Oh, the shield bash onto Samurai D,
Another
but he's got the Shatter. Here comes the bomb from Chao. He's going to find Claire. The Shatter hits Main, but no one can actually get to him. Finally, they find the pin. They left their backline completely exposed, and Main's going to go down. In fact, take that back, as Japan's backline's pretty exposed also. Kenmo does take out Eng, and the Graviton Surge to lock up mistakes. Overtime burning up. Chao's going to go down. Japan end up defending the third point.
An impressive 3-3 along with the impressive DPS play. Samurai D showing off on that Reinhardt, but of course Tonic also putting on quite a show, using that Primal Rage so effectively in the first part of the third point of Eichenwald. He managed to separate Samurai D from his effectors, from his healers so effectively, because when you have a Brigitte, you have a Lucio, and you have a Zenyatta, the Zenyatta had already used Transcendence, so at that point everyone's a proximity-based healer or weak point healing, which is where you heal only one person. The Harmony Ult from Zenyatta only does 30 healing per second. Lucio's got to go across the map, so does Brigitte, and hit people if they want to be delivering their healing payload onto the Reinhardt. And once that Reinhardt's gone, the shield's gone, that's a lot of beefy targets getting a lot of healing that you can try and farm your ultimates on. And that allowed Russia to keep moving forward. Unfortunately, they were ready. They knew exactly what Shadowburn had planned for that second fight. They managed to shut him down rather quickly.
Well, now it's turn for Japan to go on the offensive and Russia to be on the defense. Now, what's the question? What do they actually do here in terms of defense? Because they could run Shadowburn on fire again. Would make a whole lot of sense. And maybe put mistakes on Tracer. There we go. To just take out Depp. They know he's going to be running it out of spawn. You can't really say, actually, no, he's not going to run the Widow, because Widow can be granted so much space, especially with it against the Pharah, because most tanks are really holding back near the point. You don't want to have, you can't have a Reinhardt in this comp, really. He will be holding up on the gate, defending against these things like Widow. But when you've got D.Va and the Winston, not something you can really do. Hold this gate fast, because you become free ult charge at the end of it, because you don't have that permanent shield.
Speaking of mistakes on the Tracer, I want to highlight a really cool play that Japan did on my first point defense when Depp was under pressure from mistakes. They had Kenmo throw up a self-destruct into the air so it would land in the middle of the courtyard, and when Mistakes was desperately trying to chase off Depp because Depp was about half HP, Depp grappled his way across the archway, and when he was followed by Mistakes blinked into the path of the self-destruct and got killed right there. He did not expect it. He was focused so hard on Depp, but he died to that, and that was great defensive play coming out from the side of Japan.
Already Japan moving fairly aggressively. They're actually in the courtyard right now. Got to be very careful though. They're taking a fair bit of burst damage from Shadowburn. Taking a burst damage from Tonic as well. We did manage to get the jump on. Hammerkit does take him out with the help of the Mercy. That damage boost doing a lot of work for the Winston, especially if they don't have any healing on the other end.
We talk about burst damages from Winstons, and that's what can really define a good Winston from a bad Winston, as well as being able to time your dives and know about how to manage your resources like your health and your shield. The accuracy of your leaps, which is one of the main sources of burst damage for you. If you get the leap for 50 and the melee for 30, that's where really good Winstons can shine, by having a huge leap accuracy.
Depp having a nice angle here. Does headshot Chao in the mech, and Tonic is going to go go down. This could be a very big issue here for Russia, as Tonic did die fairly far up, meaning they're probably not going to be able to go for the res. And now Depp has his eyes in the skies, wants to take out Aang and wants to take out Shadowburn. With the help of his D.Va, that could be fairly easy. But right now, Shadowburn playing it perfectly, just around this column, and now he goes on the offensive. Depp having to use that grapple hook away.
Chow already having used for self-destruct. That's going to ward back Japan. And now Tonic's trying to beat out people in this particular small corridor. Samurai stuck from her back.
Beautiful pulse bomb from Mistakes there. Doesn't do as much damage as he used to with the pulse, and is still easy taking out the tanks. There's the duel, the Widow versus Mistakes. Oh no!
Is it tea time?
Oh, apparently it is.
I think as British people, we have the authority on what is and is not tea time, and I think that's two of us voting yes, it is indeed tea time. Mistakes, you can have that one from us.
Have it with a biscuit as well. It's exactly what you did take. Japan still going to move up. They do have that Transcendence, and Amakin, he was in the Hanzo, remember. He's actually on the Pharah now. He already has 83% ult charge.
Zabagod does have a Transcendence ready to go as well, but he's going against the mirror from main. Shadowburn getting in close. You might as well give him a melee, son. He's only got himself one rocket hit, but can't follow it up. And now he has to duck on down. Amakin looking for juicier prey.
Transcendence used, and you can see that Amakin dip back ever so slightly to actually be in the range of the trans to get healed up to full. However, using that fairly early, and they're actually not gaining too much ground from this either. Self-destruct launched onto the point, he doesn't quite find anybody. Chow ducked into the fortress there, just managed to get in cover in time. And Main has his own Transcendence to work with as well. Mistakes get taken out by Amakin. Apparently you need to watch the skies, not the ground, my friend. Stop looking at your shiny new shoes. Shadowburn still with the ultimate, but it's going to be extremely hard to use it unless he actually takes out the Pharah. He's going to take out Main in the meantime, though. Shadowburn, you're going to have to do something here. He's off on the edge. Did try and pulse bomb as well, but it just went dip straight over.
The attempt at Kobe not quite successful this time, but Chow's taking out Claire. This is the chance for Russia to make their counter-attack.
With Chow out of the mech also.
Kenmo, what are you doing?
No! Samurai D with the perfect leap onto Aang, does manage to supply him with the kill. Depp now on the Tracer, does want to match Mistakes in the field. They're going to jump straight onto the point, gives him a little D-bag of his own as well. They do manage to find the cap in just about equal time there.
And we can talk about Depp all day long. We can talk about Anakin, but there it was Japan's tank line who really came in the clutch. They found all the squishies and they evaporated from Jaws, made sure they were there no longer. Tonic here going to be setting himself up on the top right, making sure that he can move onto that cart without investing a movement cooldown, because he can use that to escape instead. Amakin doesn't want to give him any such designs, and he's going to be sending in the rockets. But Shadowburn already taking out both parts of the pharmacy. Get out of there, Japan. You can't stay.
He's getting the 2-for-1. Okay, he's lighting up already. We've got Mistakes as well. 2 DPS ultimates now on board for Russia, and they're holding it at the gate. It's the problem now for Japan. They have to push round and actually evade Shadowburn enough to not get pummeled by his rockets. Look at this replay here, Shadowburn in the air, Discord Orb on the Pharah, takes out Claire, makes it look so easy.
Man's a projectile monster, and we may see Depp here move over towards that Widowmaker if we continue to see Shadowburn be so brazen.
That is exactly what you're talking about, not just a moment ago. Saba getting taken out at 50 damage from the Winston Leap, and Mistakes now just cleaning house right up to Japan's spawn.
Depp does have that Tracer Bomb ready to go if he decides to use it, but I think he may well swap over to Widowmaker soon. Looks like instead he's going to go over to Brigitte. Doesn't want to worry about the ground war. Instead he's all about Mistakes. Wants to make sure that Savagod and Claire don't have to worry about that Tracer coming in behind them.
Well, Mistakes gonna have to be careful, but you've really got to take out Shadowburn. They have to either send Emikan up there to get a couple of direct body shots, or they have to also just get Kenmo up in the skies too. The Shadowburn right now is just taking a mean chunk out of Russia's offense.
Indeed he is. Amakin falling dangerously low. Will need the healing from Claire, and Mistakes is still in the bag. You can see that Depp's incredibly worried about him. Needs to try and stay back to defend Savagod, but Main's already been taken down. You've got to watch your backline, kids.
Shadowburn in the air again. Ouch. Amakin falls once more. Claire's got the Valkyrie this time, so he's a little bit more safe. That free mobility in the air is going to save him for the time being. Depp is going to find a one-hit combo onto Mistakes as well, but look at Shadowburn. He can play on the ground. He knows he has the cover and the double pocket from Main and Aang. Transcendence used fairly early. Does mean it's a pretty safe barrage. However, most of it does get eaten by the D.Va. Amakin comes in from spawn, gets instantly killed by Shadowburn again. This guy's on fire.
Amakin's just getting outclassed right now. Kenmo's giving it a go, but you're falling a little bit too short. You got to get on there later, my son. Depp going to be trading out with Mistakes. But Mistakes, he left him a parting gift.
He left him with a parting pulsive bomb, and it doesn't mean they're going to secure the kill, and 50 seconds now remain for Japan to make this push.
Indeed it does. They do have a rally ready to go. If they put that onto Sabagod, he's going to be incredibly hard for Mistakes to take down because the armor is incredibly effective against Small Arms 5. That's exactly what you get from Tracer and from Winston. It will effectively half their DPS to 30 DPS from Winston, 120 DPS coming out of Tracer. So we'll have to see if that gets deflected on Sabagod very soon. It's been saved for now. There it is.
There's a rally. They're moving forward. Sabagod's only got a little chunk of it. He's going to have to be extremely careful. Nice assault actually on the self-destructing Diva. Kenmo is going to find Eng in the skies. Okay, this might be good for them. Mistakes finding Sabagod. It will be a 1-for-1 trade, but Shadowburn is still more than okay in the air. He doesn't really seem to care that McKinn's there as well because he's landing rocket after rocket. Chao going low, but instant reaction there coming through from Main with the Transcendence. Chao and Tonic, the tanks through from Russia, are just pushing and forcing and corralling them straight into Shadowburn's fire. Overtime ticking down. Mistakes finding Sabagod. There's no way they can touch it. Russia even up the series, one apiece.
Message to the entire group here at Incheon Jaws: ignore Shadowburn's Farah at your peril. It will absolutely tear you apart. It will go 1v2 with the pharmacies. You can take Eng down with a self-destruct. Shadowburn don't give a damn. He'll just kill more people.
Oh yes, he will. Didn't even need to use the barrage either. It's very much the time Mistakes was losing DPS as he was using the ultimate because he was getting more kills with the arrows. Already showing up pretty big. One apiece at the moment. And now it is going to be Japan's map choice.
Yeah, it's going to be Japan's map choice as we move into Assault. But I feel like one of the little minutia plays that may well have just sealed it for Japan there was that Depp went so aggressive with the rally rather than sticking back and keeping Sabagod in its radius. If he could start building up that armor so he'd have 300 HP, he would have been far less just vulnerable to the attentions of Tonic and Mistakes.
Yeah, we saw Tonic kind of dive the Zenyatta time and time again. He just got instantly deleted, like we mentioned. As soon as that armor does land on the Zenyatta, it will get deleted fairly quickly if you don't have the whole wealth of it. 300 HP with the Zen is just so you can play so aggressive, and you can see why Main was doing such a good job there, getting ult after ult, because he knew his backline had his back. Now, we are going to jump onto the floor. We have Malik with an interview.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Tayo from Team Japan. Now, Tayo, you didn't play in your first half, but I want to know, what was your general overview for how things went?
Actually, I think we couldn't win Eichenwald, but I mean, that was their map pick, so next map's Volskaria, so I think we can win that.
Right, all right. Now, last year you guys came to the Australia, the Sydney stage, and shocked everybody. Not many people expected you guys to win. Coming into this year, do you feel like Japanese Overwatch is being respected a little more, and your team in general is getting more respect from the other teams?
Actually, yeah. So in our contenders, we've actually been winning, and we're in the finals, so I think that we're getting enough recognition at the moment.
Right, you guys are kind of multitasking here a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
Coming off of that. All right, so what do you guys think you need to do to win this match out in the end here in the second half?
We just need to stay to our basics and what we've been practicing for even the contenders. So if we just play normally, I think we could just win easily.
All right, well, everybody give it up for Tayo. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you.
Best of luck for the rest of the match. And with that, guys, it's 1-1. Will it be Team Japan who comes out victorious in this match, or Team Russia? We're going to find out right after the break. The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup.
there we have it. One apiece. Russia taking Iconvolt, Japan's map pick now.
Now we'll be moving over to Assault. One of the more snowballing maps in the game, George. You can really ride momentum here, and Russia's certainly coming in with momentum, but I think Japan isn't going to be feeling like they've been stopped in their tracks right here. We heard from the interview with Tayo that they were pretty much assuming that they'd lose Iconvolt because it was Russia's map pick.
We're like, okay, we'll just grab that one. You give us a map, we'll win it. That's just how it works. Tayo seems incredibly confident as well. You can hear it in his voice. And him being in the finals for Pacific Contenders, this is a perfect opportunity to get a bit of extra synergy down, you know, as well as facing some of these players that you look up to in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, speaking of synergy, we do know that Cyclops Athlete Gaming, who are Team Japan, have been building that for a significant while now. Whereas on the side of Team Russia, we know that Windstrike, Eng, Main, Chao, and Unfixed have recently been diverting so much of their time towards their own Contenders playoffs. And that means that they haven't been able to scrim as hard for the World Cup as they would like. And of course, they'd had to integrate both Mistakes and Shadowburn from Philadelphia Fusion and Boston Uprising.
Well, it's looking pretty easy so far for them to integrate those DPS. You've got to say, star players like them too are going to fit quite nicely into the backbone that is the support line for the side of Russia. And now Japan, depending on where they want to go, like you said, it is very snowbally. And you can imagine a team with a lot of experience and a lot of time under their belt as a full squad. They're going to be able to play things like 3-3 extremely well. We've seen it a little bit today, and it's definitely a composition. If you go up against a team that hasn't had a lot of that time to kind of work together, you're going to be able to roll over them if they do match them in the mirror.
Yeah, but we do know the core of Windstrike, Eng, Main, and Chao, they are very effective at 3-3 when playing it with their main team. So I imagine integrating Tonic into that would be a little bit of a task, but not an insurmountable one. Of course, for Reinhardt is the linchpin of all of those compositions. So I have to see if that could be on the cards for Russia.
Well, Tonic has got a mean Reinhardt, and I want to see him on it once more. And I want to see if Russia are going to stick with this double DPS, because a lot of these maps, you're thinking Numbani, King's Row, and just everything else like Voskaya. A lot of them have extremely good Widow vantage points, same with the Hanzo as well, and it will actually be Voskaya here. So again, we could just see double DPS defense and offense coming out from Russia.
We want to try and take Russia on their home turf, Jaws.
Oh, there we go. Tayo subbing in, okay, super confident in the interview, wants to carry that confidence coming through to Voskaya.
I have to see what kind of heroes he wants to play. Of course, subbing in for Anakin, he will be in the DPS role. I do believe that he was a Tracer player before. We saw Depp filling that role during Iconvolt, but it doesn't look like Tayo's going to be taking that over. Maybe they're going to try and go for some Widow Tracer shenanigans. We have seen that quite often when it comes to first point defenses on Volskaya Industries. You generally use the Widow in the backline, controls the sight lines, and controls so much of the attention of the enemy team, whereas you have the Tracer running through the back, just try and get a quick one clip onto the Zenyatta or the Mercy.
Well, we'll see what he wants to do. And we have actually seen a little bit of Sombra play on this map also. In fact, we've seen a little bit of Sombra play today. And remember, last patch, she got an significant buff. She looks extremely strong. You have perma invisibility that the Translocator lasts for an infinite amount of time. It does have 5 HP, so if someone does spot it out, they can destroy it. And this is a map where it's extremely useful. You can hack that giant health pack in the defender's small room, and you can also provide your team with a whole lot of information.
Yeah, because of the proximity of the health packs to the active point here, that's why Sombra can be so good on the defense, because you can move from that health pack to the point so quickly. And I'm just going to give you some stats, some maths here, Jaws. A hacked mega health pack, which is the one in the larger room, gives you 250 HP. It respawns on a 4-second cooldown when it's hacked, which means that it can potentially give you 62.5 HPS if you use it completely every time it respawns, which is more healing than a Mercy can give you. So that's incredibly effective to come from a DPS.
Well, it does look like they're actually going to roll with it. Here we go. Tayo actually jumping over to the Sombra. They are going to put Sabagod now onto this Ana. So it's going to be single main heal with Claire on Brigitte. Something we haven't really seen a lot on this map when it's not running 3-3. She's going to have a very tough time, I'd say, actually defending anybody. But then again, she doesn't really need to. She could just dive in with the double dive tanks. And even Deb switching over to that Genji.
Yeah, Sabagod here is going to need some real peeling from Claire, though. Claire's going to need to stun people when they're moving onto Sabagod, so that Sabagod can preemptively move through the midst of that building and instead go over onto that health pack that can heal her up continuously. Meanwhile, on the side of Russia, looks like it is going to be those dive DPS that we mentioned before. Mistakes onto the Tracer. Shadowburn on his signature. It's for Genji.
Oh boy, it's going to be dive one way or the other. Shadowburn being very aggressive. They're going to take box control here, so you're going to get a nice bit of damage down onto the D.Va already. You can see 30% on the ultimate charge, a couple of headshots, and he'll be up to near 50. As soon as he charges this up, it's going to be extremely easy for him to go in, but the problem is he has to watch out for Teo. As soon as you get that Genji hacked, he cannot reset from the dashes. There's one dash, however, straight through Dep, and in fact, Mistakes is going to be able to almost solo Kenmo there, and even Chow, he doesn't mind too much. Samurai D, you jump towards me, mate, no worries. I've got 2 miniguns with your name on it.
Doesn't like Tayo got many effective hacks off. Did get some submachine gun fire though, already 50% of the way to his ultimate, but both Mistakes and Shadowburn are beating him to the draw, and look at how quickly they're moving forward. Sabagon here could be staggered out, needs some help coming in. There's the D.Va. Kenmo, you gotta rescue your boy, and looks like Mistakes is now gonna back off. Not gonna be putting on the squeeze too quickly here. Instead, Shadowburn needs to demand some healing from Eng as he can move forward, try and get towards that Dragon Blade, and then potentially get a damage boost from Eng as he uses it.
We talked about how this is very snowbally, and Japan now don't have any defensive ultimates. They haven't got Rally online, they've got the nano boost. I guess you can count that as defensive. Mistakes, I'm not even sure where that pulse bomb went, but it doesn't matter. Deb's actually unleashed the blade first. Eng is going to go down here, might halt the push from Russia. You can see there, Chow instantly throws himself off the edge, knows the push is over.
Quicker on the draw here, but Japan know that now they are incredibly vulnerable to Shadowburn's Dragon Blade. I imagine what we will see is Sabagod and Claire sticking together very tightly here, so that if Shadowburn dives down onto Sabagod to try and get a quick kill with that ultimate, Claire will be there ready and waiting with a shield bash so they can confirm the kill onto Shadowburn. Here, Shadowburn needs to be incredibly trepidatious, needs to be careful. I think we may see Tonic decide to dive in first to try and bait out that shield bash. Claire needs to keep this for the optimal moment.
There's the Nano. Transcendence used in response. Samurai D going extremely low. That damage resistance from the Nano looking like it's nothing. Nice nade as well. He's going to receive a bit of extra something now. Primal Rage available too. He's going to dive straight after the support. That's not where you want to be if you're a Zenyatta right now. Shadowburn unleashes the blade, but gets taken out by Sabogod. And Samurai D takes off main, pushes him right off the map. He's actually going to find another one in Tonic. Also, Japan just holding so well. Russia are going to have to back off.
Sabagod channeling his inner Ryujie Hong here. Mistakes is throwing Pulse Pistol Clip after Pulse Pistol Clip into the midst of Japan. But he can't even get any more, he can't get any more of that ultimate charge. Jaws has already got it, so he's just feeding over some more charge to Sabagod, who can heal him up with a Biotic Rifle and start building up to yet another nano boost. And like you said, Samurai D took so much damage here. You can see how powerful the focus from Russia is. Even with 50% damage reduction, he had to back off in a matter of seconds.
Oh, I like this. Okay, Shadowburn now on the McCree instead. They know that nano boost is going to be nearby and very close to actually getting up. And Dep has got 80% on the blade. If they can just flashbang flashbang Dep, and hopefully just stop one of those dashes coming through, they might just be able to outlive it.
This is where the Winston needs to try and bait out these cooldowns by going in for a deep dive. Zhao's going to try and open it up here with the self-destruction. Sabagod's down. That's the main healer for Japan gone. No nano boost available.
They've got Claire on the point, but the problem is, with that rally stacking up, that's going to be pretty hard for Russia to actually burn through, but not if they actually kill Claire off first up. Shadowburn finding the kill, is going to be able to move forwards. Deb still has that ultimate. He's going to pull it out, jump straight on the point. He's trying to find Mistakes, but he's dug dip diving and dodging around. But Deb manages to read him like a book, but he still gets out alive somehow. Teo is going to come back to the point and kill off Tonic, but Mistakes is there to finish him up as well. Eng reviving, making sure Tonic is alive and well on the point. Spawn priority, yes, for Japan, but the problem is they are just getting staggered so much. Transcendence available for Russia. They end up using it fairly early on. Tonic's trying to chase down Deb. He has got the Primal Rage, but he is not getting anything done with it, really.
Deb's kiting away. Down goes the self-destruct. Sabagod's going to be taken once again. I've got a feeling of deja vu. Jaws, and now Tonic's trying to control the point, but still not a tick has been accrued for Russia here.
Shadowburn finding yet another kill. Tonic dunks Claire in the icy waters. Deb finally finds the kill on Shadowburn, and now we see him going down. Now he can't build up towards that Deadeye. Slowly but surely they're building time on this point. 2 ticks have been acquired, and Eng is still alive. This guy is immortal. 2 resurrections in this single fight as main comes back up as well.
Samurai has popped the Primal Rage. He's swinging away with the best of his anger, and Chao's still here on the point. Is so close to being capped.
Shadowburn's in again. We want to see that Deadeye stun, but it might be a little bit too late. Here comes another blade from Deb. Cleaning house, 3 kills. Here we go, Japan. That's what we wanted to see.
They took their time with it though, Jaws. Still 3 minutes on the clock for Russia, and 90.8% of second point was capped there with a huge investments of ultimates from Japan. During that, they used the rally, they used their blade and they use the Primal Rage just in the tail end of that fight. We saw a nano boost earlier as well alongside another self-destruct. Kenlo's built up yet another one though, which is great, and Chao's almost got one himself. So much damage from these divas.
Here's the nano, jump straight onto Aang. Samurai D backing off now. They know the focus from Russia is too good. Transcendence also used by main as well. This is just perfect. Exactly what Samurai D really wanted here. Jumps on, eliminates that Transcendence, so Depp is free for a blade.
Indeed, but Depp still has to farm up, needs to use that Shuriken blade, try and hit those from long range. Tonic's laid down a shield to try and make it far harder. Aang's got out of a Valkyrie, everyone's getting a damage boost or 60 HPS. It's yours to decide, Aang, make a choice.
Almost potential big bomb, beautiful headshot from Shadowburn, flicks around, 180 flashbang, and a bullet through the brain. Childhood dreams splattered across the walls, and now Mistakes taking out Depp is going to stop him from building that Dragon Blade. They're now moving on to the point, corralling them into the corner. Witch jumps straight on him, denies the ultimate coming through from the McCree, and now main going down once again. Samurai D is just popping off. He is going to get back onto the point with the Primal Rage to make sure Tonic is paying for every single step he takes. Mistakes is going to go down once more, so that will be Russia forced out to do another attack. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining.
Samurai D is an absolute madman of a Winston. Russia wants such a weighty time bank has been eroded, Jaws. Now they are on the brink. 1 minute and 30 seconds stands between them and not being able to complete Volskaya Industries. Tayo can potentially delay them even further by putting a pulse bomb in their midst. Depp is ready to go as well with that blade should it be required, but Sabagod being down, this is an opening for Russia.
Oh, nice!
Don't
use
go
the
on top
pulse
of
bomb,
those.
not exactly where you want to be, and Depp unleashes the blade with the help of the nano, not even needing the nano, sorry. Called it a little bit too early there, 10% from Sabagod before he gets that, and another team wipe for Japan. Chao instantly killing himself. They need to make every single push count. 60 seconds remain.
But hey, not needing the nano, I've got another feeling of deja vu, Jaws. I think we're probably going to see it going on to Samurai D, going to force out that Transcendence from main and make it so that Depp once again will have smooth sailing as he tries to go in for his last one. Tayo's in the back already, wants to try and catch out main potentially as he comes in.
Winston's there as well. This could be extremely bad. Remember, the nano can't really be applied from around this corner. He is going to retreat, and already it's actually forced out. So they've got a nano for free now. They're going to use it on the Winston. Samurai D jumping to the back line once again. Aang in a lot of trouble. Shadowbone's trying to kite grip, but it's too little too late.
Don't move him that way.
There's no way that you're going to be able to escape. Samurai D has the Primal Rage up soon as well. Ends up going down as the buff wasn't available to him. Both supports from Russia coming up big. 2 kills, in fact 3. Main's going to find 2 in Samurai D and Tayo. This is exactly what they needed. You have to get on the point. 90% still acquired for them, but overtime is going to be in here soon.
Japan not in the ideal position. Depp can't get away, and here comes the rally from Mistakes, making everyone very resilient as they come in onto the point. They've got 5 people there, and they're so close to capping.
Rally as well is going on. Russia building up a bank of armor here for Japan to try and slice through. Another double kill for Mistakes, and they just managed to clutch it out. So close was Deppers touching the point, and he even had the blade. Russia end up completing in overtime.
Indeed, it is in overtime, so they're not going to have any courtesy time bank unless there is also an overtime completion from Japan. But if Japan can complete with any time over a minute left in their bank, they will have a free attack, which Russia will not. But first, Jaws, easier said than done, they've got to complete. And Russia here are probably going to have a very stalwart defense. We've seen just how good they can be defending from these advantageous positions. We may even see defensive Farah come out. Very unlikely, but I'd like it.
It can happen. Obviously, defensive Widowmaker. The defense from Japan, especially on the first point, was rather questionable. They had Tayo on the Sombra. It's extremely good in the defense because, like you mentioned, that big health pack can be hacked and it provides a lot of health, a lot of healing, more than a Mercy, like you mentioned. So it was a bit odd, and they did end up, their main healer did end up going down fairly early on, which kind of snowballed Russia, and where they were able to cap fairly quickly. Big time bank to defend against, though, and they did just that until overtime. Japan now on the offense. We have Russia over on the defense.
Yeah, I did. There would have been a little bit more peeling there for Sabagod, but unfortunately that was not the case. Samurai went a little bit too low. That forced Sabagod to move forward in positioning, try and maintain that line of sight onto the main tank so you can keep pumping in those bionic rifle shots. But when you have to move positioning to get desperate to heal your tanks when they're out so far, that's when you can be caught out, and Russia took advantage of that. Samurai D fell down before he could get the primal, before a nano could be applied. And unfortunately, all snowballed downhill there from Japan. Deb was caught out 1v1 against a Brigida, tried to wall climb away, but just hit his head on a bridge, giving himself a concussion, and then he got maced as well, so not a great day for him.
Mace to the face.
Mace
That's
to
a
the
voice line.
face.
My goodness. Mistakes jumping onto the Tracer for the defense. Shadowburn as well is on the hand zone. No double sniper, but Mistakes has been doing a fantastic job on the Tracer. And one thing you got to say, it was you looked at the team to start off with and you're okay, this is going to be a dive squad. But remember, Shadowburn has a crazy vast hero pool, so not too surprising seeing him on the Shimada brother.
Mistakes has to be very afraid if he has a Discord orb on him, or Claire is damage boosting. Any body shot from Tayo or Deb will one-shot the Tracer.
Sonic Arrow, perfectly used, onto Deb. They know exactly where he is. He's got to be extremely careful now. He's got Shadowburn in his sights, but Chow already takes out Samurai D. Tayo's going to move forward and actually punish Shadowburn for looking directly at Deb. Egg's going to be there with the resurrection with the help of the tanks from Russia. They make sure as soon as that person does go down, they jump on him to make sure they can get the res rather cleanly.
There we see Mistakes having to use that recall. Tonic's been caught out. There won't be a resurrection there, but Japan can't stay in here. They need to take what they've got and leave quickly. Keep that advantage. Kenmo, Demectvo, gonna have to respawn, and that will give Tonic time to return.
Okay, with that first push, and look at the ultimates they've actually netted here. Mistakes already has that pulse bomb. Main is 75% of the way to the trans.
Yeah, Mistakes here. He only has to worry about Kenmo, really, as a potent defense for this boss on potentially eating it, but right now it doesn't look like Mistakes is opening up these fights by focusing Samurai D instead. This time, however, he's been a bit of a sneaky beaver. He's got those shoes on, Jaws, and there is the Infrasight, or rather the Sonic Arrow, so he knows exactly where everyone's going to be. Misses the stick.
Sabo God still in trouble, gets the clip through!
And the recall away from the shield bash. Claire comes in with a resurrection, but that's not going to be available for another 30 seconds, and everyone else is falling down.
Yeah, Kenmo gets demegged, instantly killed by Main as they follow up, and now Shadowbird, this is a perfect situation for him. He can just fire at the people exiting the door. Got to be careful as the Winston does jump on him, but Kenmo instantly focused as soon as he reaches the high ground.
You see the second that Shadowburn takes damage. Eng is there and ready. Moving forward still is Japan. Out comes the Dragon Strike trying to zone them away, and the Brigade is caught therein. Sabagod has to go through with a Transcendence.
Perfect Transcendence. Samurai D doesn't quite feel the effects, however. Shadowburn takes him out with the Storm Arrow. Another Sonic Arrow on the truck to try and spot people out, but you're looking the wrong way, mate. Or the fact he isn't now. Okay, there we go. He realized no one was there. Self-destruct into the air. That's a really risky race, and Kenmo actually gets two. Chow and Main are going to fall down, but an instant self-destruct coming through from Chow as well is going to erase Deb.
Don't mess with the Maniac. He will give you a headshot, but it was eventually taken down. Russia are going to hold fast despite their losses here, and they're going to have to hold fast a little while longer. 1 minute and 30 seconds remain on the clock for Japan, but they've got to be feeling rather sweaty at this point. Tayo does have that Dragon Strike, but it hasn't been very appealing thus far. There's the stick. Go back to spawn, boys. You can't take this 5v6. You don't have time for this.
See you later, mate. Mistakes finding the target once more, and a risky res from Claire, not paying off for him at all. Mistakes, and the rest of the tank just punching for it. Abe gets chased out as well. Samurai D falling down. Tonic, a little bit too far there. There we go. Eng's going to heal you back up, no worries. 1 minute now remain for Japan on this offense.
Sonic exploring new frontiers there with the Winston, but hey, you can be risky if you're trying to build up towards that primal rage. Speaking of primal rages, that's exactly what Samurai D has got, and we've seen him be incredibly effective with this thus far. And this was Japan's map choice, let's not forget, but now they stand 45 seconds away from having lost it already. Depth's used for rally. This time Sabagod's actually got the armor. We're not repeating the mistakes of Eichenwald, but you're going to have to repeat the mistake of not standing in this dragon.
Shadowburn goes low. Primal Rage straight after Aang, but look at him fly to safety. Perfect control
out, buddy.
of the Mercy. Tonic falling in the back line as Sabagod does find the kill. The Dragon's through the box once more. He does try and chase Teo here, but Teo is going to jump straight to the ground. He has a Sonic Arrow in him, revealing his location, everybody nearby. Shadowburn still perfect control. There is no one dislodging him right now, not even Teo. Transcendence coming through for Russia as they jump onto the point, as Shadowburn is just going to feel the effects of that one. Kenmo getting chased out. 5 seconds now remain as Tonic finds another kill. Here we go, the cleanup crew. Russia only have to deal with the Zenyatta now, who's got a lot of armor, but not a lot of time left in this world. Mistakes finds 2. Overtime not enough. And Russia come back with a vengeance, 2-1 in the series.
We talked about momentum, Jaws, and how important it is when we move into assault maps. Russia, definitely in this series, has all the momentum that they want and more. They managed to not be as impressive on Oasis, maybe not the ideal map pick for them. Maybe it just didn't go towards their wheelhouse as much and really served the hero pools that Team Japan could give to them. But here on Team Japan's own choice of Volskaya Industries, a dominant performance on the defense.
Yeah, dominant performance. Japan managed to burn out about 6 minutes of time against Russia, and that was really all on Depp, and the flanks he was able to get, and the ability to actually force this Transcendence with or without the nano boost on the Winston was just absolutely sublime.
Yeah, and Shadowburn on that little pavilion in the middle, someone's got to shoot him. He doesn't have much cover there. Someone please shoot Shadowburn, please.
He's not gonna move. He will be there, just dueling with Teo. And Teo had the damage boost also. He was up on the high ground just opposite Shadowburn, and he was receiving the healing from the Mercy. He was just not winning out on those fights. If you can't 1v1 the Hanzo, you have to send tanks after him. You have to commit more resources.
Yeah, Samurai D and Kenmo really need to be there denying all that space, because we just saw Shadowburn staying up there forever. He was basically on vacation.
Getting dragon after dragon, it was pretty easy. They did switch up to Brigitte in the end of it all as well, just decided the full dive really wasn't working out for them, but mistakes just pop it off on the Tracer for Russia. You gotta say, this is one of the reasons why he's now just finding this Zenyatta over and over again. Sabogod. Oh man, you got to feel that one right in here.
Feel that right in here, but I feel we've got a new map coming. Jaws, we are going to be heading over to Escort, and once more, it will be the map choice of Team Japan, and they're going to take us to Rialto.
Okay, remember, this team is going to be playing a lot of Rialto in their games over in Contenders. It is in the map pool. And one big question is, how are Mistakes and Shadowburn able to alter to this map? It wasn't in the Owl pool when Owl was around. 2-1 in the scoreline right now, and I want to see what they're going to do on the defense here, because it is an extremely hard map to actually go on the offense for. There was a stat recently put out on Twitter, about 45% of the time the offense was able to succeed capping the first point.
Yeah, and earlier in our series against Hong Kong, I don't think we saw a full completion from Russia. They did get 2 points and pretty much most of the way towards the end.
Exactly that. Well, we'll see what Japan do want to do. They're on the defense first after all, and Russia, they're on the offense.
Indeed, they are. We'll have to see what is going to be on the cards here. I see Chow there on the Wrecking Ball. It's just going to be going around that central pavilion in the spawn. We know how they do love to swing. Those playful hamsters. You put them into space, I think they can do anything. But Japan on the defense here. Samurai coming up on this Reinhardt. We've seen him be incredibly impressive on this Reinhardt. This is where Reinhardts can really shine, Jaws, in these narrow corridors, where when you swing and press W, if anyone's in that corridor, they're getting hit.
Oh yeah, they are, and you're going to get hit by Depp as well if you're not careful. He's actually running the Widowmaker here, and Teo jumping onto this Farah, something we see fairly common on Rialto is this Farah, because once more, it's just like King's Row and other maps with very, very nice architecture, especially like Iconbolt we saw earlier on, is that you can hide the Farah around these tall buildings, and it's very hard for actually to hit her out of spawn, and you have to force yourself into the choke to get a good angle on her.
That you do, and we'll have to see what Tayo can do on this Farah as well, because we can use that architecture to their advantage, try and shield us. Oh, a great strike there from Samurai D, already at 30%, managed to hit Mistakes, Tonic, and Aang, I believe, with that fire strike, so getting some good value out of that initial Ian does mean it is going to have a great advantage in terms of having built up towards that Earth Shadow. It's already a third of the way there, Jules.
Yeah, Chow not quite quick on the right click. Defense Major wasn't available. They are pushing forwards, and you can see Mistakes. They've sent him as the sleeper agent just on the back line, see if he can actually spot out Depp. Because if Depp is getting harassed here by the Tracer, it makes Shadowburn's life just so much easier.
Depp's rotating away, but he hasn't quite noticed Mistakes yet going in. Hasn't quite got the one clip, but potentially he's going to be able to win this out. There it is, confirming the kill, and he's got Claire as well.
Claire was trying to heal Depp. He flew straight into Mistakes. ADS, oh my goodness. He even takes out Sabogod, who was just left high and dry in the back line, and now it was just Kenmo on the point, trying to charge ult. Beautiful first push from Russia.
Claire thought he was helping, but he just activated Mistakes trap card, and unfortunately they both fell. However, Japan do have time to come back, and Tayo, mate, you got to stay behind that shield. Eating some lead.
He's going to get res though, and that'll be Shadowburn still working towards this ultimate. And the reason why this map is so good for the defenders here, because the spawn is so close, you can see them already contesting the point, and they need to. 3 meters away from it actually being capped.
Tayo's already all over Shadowburn, but he's going to be making sure that that isn't a viable option by putting a Venom Mine there. Down goes Sabogod, now comes the Pulse on, but not going to be connecting.
Perfect dive onto the Zenyatta. Oh no, Claire just got tracked through the air. Shield breaking as well for the side of Japan. Samurai D falling. And that'll be Chow picking up the pieces. We do see them try and cap the point. They end up getting it. 4 minutes and 48 seconds now in the time bank.
1 point added to their total and 2 minutes and 30 added to their time bank. Aang's Valkyrie's going to run out, so he's going to be able to start building up towards yet another one. Meanwhile, Main's going to be able to do the heavy lifting when it comes to the healing. The Transcendence is ready to go. 300 HPS onto everyone who is within the radius. Mistakes. Sabagod, he's going to try to start coming back. Tayo got taken out by a sniper, but you know who else is a sniper? Sometimes it's just the Zenyatta.
Oh, hey, those right clicks can be also deadly if you're not being careful. Then, you know, those right clicks don't even have damage drop-off, so it's even a better feels bear. Well, Sabagod even, sorry, is going to find the wall. Shadowburn is going to find the kill, and that'll be a shadow hitting the floor. You can see Tonic on the back line trying to kill this Mercy off. Samurai D is going to take out Main and punishing him for actually stepping forward. He can't be in the front line, not against the Reinhardt, but Tonic is somehow still alive. Even though his supports are going to go down here, he's still farming this ultimate. There's a bomb from Chao killing off Kenmo, and Shadowburn still running away. They want to be able to reset here. They know Japan have spawn advantage. They can't match the shield intensity coming from Samurai D.
Tayo was just a monster in the backline there, managing to take down Aang, who's now returned to the fray, and Main before that Transcendence could be used. But now Main can now push forward with that Transcendence into the midst of Japan. You can see them preemptively backing off. They know that there may well be a spine in their midst, but no, Mistakes isn't quite there yet. It's going to have to heal up before going in.
Okay, Depp has rally now. They can push forward with it. Stacking armor is going to be crazy goods for their offense now. Self-destruct, not available for that bomb. However, Tonic is just going to get locked up as Samurai D does find the Finn. The Transcendence coming out from Sabagod as well to push them forwards, but Shadowburn could just eat through that. There's no worries for him. He's going to find Depp as well. That's 2 members now down for Team Japan. They are just swinging for the fences. Samurai D does refill the shield, but he hasn't got any healing to actually back him up with. Abiteo backing off with the help of his Mercy. He's almost got a pulse bomb available. They might be able to touch to get a bit more time here, but you can see now how far Russia are holding up.
Aang used yet another Valkyrie there, regenerating them so quickly, and there's a stick onto Shadowburn, getting blown to pieces, but the res is just as quick. Aang's on a mad one right now.
He's going to stitch him back together, but the problem is, as soon as you go for that res, you get slowed down, and that does mean he's going to fall also. Depp is going to get taken out as well, and that will be a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Mistakes finding yet another stick, but a perfect shield timing coming through from Kenmo to actually save the Reinhardt's life. Tonic once more unleashing the Primal Rage, jumps to the back line with Claire going down. This could be Tonic's time to just bully the Reinhardt in the corner. There's no way you're escaping that, Samurai D.
Is this match sponsored by Super Glue? Because I haven't seen this many sticks in a while, Jaws. Both Tayo and Mistakes coming out and showing exactly what Tracers can do. But Tayo, he's going to be hanging up his pulse pistols. Instead, he's going to be moving over onto that ever-present Diva. Depp no longer wanting to be on the Widowmaker. He's moving over to the Brigida. It's 3 tanks, 3 supports, and 1 Russia that's about to get ran into incredibly fast.
What tracking from Mistakes there, taking out Sabagod. He's in the back line, still harassing the Diva. She's used her jets there. That could be quite a vulnerable situation though. Not going to be able to move forward as readily. Although Zaya and Ryan running to the back line to Mistakes. Solos out the Mechateo. He didn't have healing to bear. And that will be another stick coming through straight on top of Claire. Beautiful Tracer play coming through from Mistakes. Make that a 3-piece as Samurai D is going to go down as well. Graviton Surge thrown in for good measure, but there's not really any much follow-up coming through from Japan, and Kenmo just threw that one away.
Mistakes had enough of this nonsense, and so is Shadowburn. The Moira manages to get on, but no one else will. Russia this time, not quite like it was with Hong Kong. They've had enough. It's a full completion against Japan.
Full completion from Russia. Mistakes there, just punishing what seemed to be maybe a lack of communication in the back line. No one was healing that Diva that entire time, just meant she couldn't receive the support and couldn't actually move forward with her team. Already used those thrusters to get out of the way of the Tracer the first time, and then was just left high and dry. Tried to defend Matrix, but sometimes Tracers are a little bit too quick.
And also there's only a 2-second uptime on that defense measure. You can see Shadowburn here just tearing apart Russia as they're all focused on Mistakes and doing so much damage as well. When you're dealing with that double threat, it can strain your communication so much, Jaws.
Gotta heal those tanks, man. Those tanks fall, you're gonna lose your front line.
You gotta heal those everything.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, you can't heal them when Mistakes is just sticking you all the time, that's for sure.
Or one-clipping you if you happen to be Sabagod, unfortunate.
Claire actually switched onto the Lucio at the end there to try and get a speedy touch on the point. The problem was, as soon as he actually landed there, he got stuck by Mistakes, and it was him and Shadowburn just corralling everybody in. And we can even see Tonic just being so aggressive with these Primal Rages. Knows that the rest of his team are going to be able to back him up, because when you throw the Primal Rage in, it does dislodge so many people and can can force people in positions they don't want to be. And that is perfect for a Tracer who's so good and so adept at being in the backline.
Not only that, but you can force them into the sightlines of Widowmaker as well, because everyone's going to be trying to take over from Widowmaker. They know moving into that sightline versus Shadowburn or Mistakes is an incredibly risky proposition. But sometimes Tonic can just make that decision for you. You don't have to worry about the risk because, hey, you're a risk taker now. I've decided I'm just going to slap you over there and you can try your chances while Shadowburn plays Duck Hunt.
Well, Japan have to try their chances now. They are on the offense. We do see Russia on the defense. They are running Shadowburn on the far. Not too much of a surprise, like we mentioned earlier. Beautiful architecture in Italy, so he is going to be able to hide behind a lot of these buildings.
And
Mistakes. Hey, Mistakes still on the Tracer. He's on fire right now. Why not?
And he's already used his Rika. Will be moving straight back into the loving arms of his healers while Shadowburn peeks over here, realizes that it's going to be rather hard to take him down. So here we need to see a combined assault from Japan. We need to see both Sabagon throw out the damage orb for Moira and Kenmo follow it in to try and lay down that damage. But instead he's decided he's going to go over onto Tonic.
It is a 3-3 and Kenmo's mech is already going to go down. This is the benefit of 3-3 is you receive a lot of healing, but apparently not, as Mistake does demech Kenmo rather easily. Deb is going extremely low as well, as Shadowburn jumps straight on top of him, and now Moira using the fade, a little bit defensive. They are still pushing the cart and gaining some ground, but it is a lost fight, especially when you've got Shadowburn in the air, who's already got an ultimate, by the way. This has been one fight, only just about a minute, and he has Barrage.
He's ready to lay down Barrage at moment's notice as well. The shield is dropped and so is the bomb. No casualties there. Samurai keeping everyone safe. Here comes the Coalescence that can easily be taken down by Barrage.
Straight on top of Deb. Sabagon is going to take our main, so 1-for-1 trade. Still, Shadowburn up in the air, and the Coalescence is extremely good at dealing with the Pharah. Problem is, if you're aiming the supports, that's not where you want it to go. Claire is going to fall as well. Does mean Shadowburn is working his way very swiftly towards another Barrage, already at 30%. Beautiful pin as well, straight onto the Primal Rage and Winston. Shadowburn taking a little bit too much self-damage there, has to back off rather readily, but Tonic just making sure the rest of his team is safe, popping that bubble so no more ult charge can be gained by Japan.
It was scrappy, it was messy, but Japan have lost 1 minute and 30 seconds here and haven't moved the payload that far forward at all. Tayo has almost got himself up towards that Graviton Surge, which is going to be so crucial for attempting to try and take this point. I thought that could have been a knockoff, Jaws. It was an incredibly risky path for Japan to take.
Oh, Deb's going to be the target. Beautiful stick, wasn't quite eaten. He doesn't end up
Good
going
shielding.
down either. Beautiful shielding indeed. Shadowburn 90% on his ult. They're building towards this grab. Tayo has finally acquired it, but Shadowburn has got that in the tank as well. Deb's going to be the target. He does put his shield up, and a beautiful Matrix there as well to soak most of that damage, but he already claimed a life. There's the Graviton Surge and a self-destruct straight on top, and Kenmo is going to find the kill onto Tonic. Chow also gets demech'd by the Diva, meaning they are men up. Japan can push forward as Samurai D does have the shatter.
Enger's getting so many of his reses off and Mistakes are still in the mix. He's just going after whatever target is called to be discorded, but now he's up against a rally, up against that stacking armor, and that's so effective against the pulse pistols. But guess what, Jaws? He's got yet another pulse bomb, but not for long. Deb's shut it on down.
Deb's got him. Shatter hits the floor, so does Aang. Gets swept up clean.
Oh, he's got away!
Oh, he was 2
Madman.
HP. He had an orb on him as well, so the last Reinhardt swing couldn't quite save it. Kill him off. Samurai D's shield's falling extremely low as the self-destruct does come out as well. They were trying to force Samurai D's shield to go down. It definitely will be now, and they're forcing their way onto the point. However, Mistakes using that pulse bomb and just deleting Kenmo's mech once again.
And when that mech is down, that means Shadowburn can reign free. No one can go up and challenge him. And now no one can challenge Mistakes either. He's putting clip after clip into these tanks.
I want to see how many pulse bomb kills this guy's got. This is actually insane. He is 65% towards yet another ult. Tried to go for the melee recall animation cancel, but doesn't quite get it. And a remech for Kenmo eventually. There's the barrage straight on top of the mech.
Perfect time
and
for
Claire
remech.
gets it out in the end. A beautiful pulse bomb from Mistakes. Actually sends so many people so low and actually kills Samurai D. But the Graviton Surge was building up that entire time, and they managed to complete and actually cap 3 minutes in the time bank now for Japan.
They took their time, Jaws, but they got the point. It's quite an expensive point in terms of time. And now they will have 3 minutes to try and complete second. And we're going to be moving forward now with 2 ultimates. They've got the Graviton, not the Graviton. They've got the self-destruct, Jaws. My brain's all over the place. And they've got the Coalescence as well. Sabagod can try and use that as an anti-air tool if he so wishes. Shadowburn, if he goes in too deep, could be punished by that Coalescence.
Well, Mistakes just jumped over this Hanzo also. Another very, very deadly hero in his hands. He is up on top of that building. You can see now them decking back in the building. Not quite quick enough for Claire though. Coalescence is going to come out as well. Samurai Samurai D getting pooped around by Tonic once again. This Winston play from Tonic just so aggressive, like we mentioned before. Samurai D is going to move himself onto the payload, still has Shatter, but the problem is you can't if you just get dunked in the water. Mistakes is going to kill off Sabogod as well. Beautiful self-strike in air is going to kill Main, and that will be 2 members almost falling here for Russia. Japan is going to lose one in the meantime. Obviously, Sabogod did go down, but look at this. Shadowburn in the air, just completely uncontested. The Shadow came through, but instant dragons in response, and it is going to kill off Samurai D, which meaning Russia just trading kills for ults here. This is perfect for them. Look what they've got coming up soon. They've got the barrage.
Samurai there put down that Earth Shadow, thinking that he would be able to catch Mistakes. He came down with that Dragon Strike, but he didn't account for the now lower hitbox of the Earth Shadow. Won't hit people who are on top of a payload, and that's exactly where Mistakes landed. Was able to avoid that Earth Shadow entirely and get the Dragon off, which claimed Samurai's life. But Tayo now, he has the Gravis on Surge. It was the key to victory before, and he's got 100 charge to put into it as well.
Chow, you ain't going anywhere, my friend. Just gets locked up in. Self-destruct comes out. Samurai D shield's going fairly low. Aim gets the res off again. Dips straight back to Main as well. Still surviving. Chow, not so lucky. Couldn't get the resurrect as Deb ends his life. Teo just farming the tanks now and farming the DPS, forcing out that Transcendence as well. Samurai D jumping towards Shadowburn, trying to deny that damage, but instantly killed as the shield got deleted. That's a good 4,000 damage you have to block off, but was too little too late. Ends up going down. So does Shadowburn in the end there as Kenmo finds yet another self-destruct here.
Such great defense there for Shadowburn. Not only did he get the defense measures coming through from Chow, but Main also popped that Transcendence. He told Shadowburn that you could fly lower to use that barrage, get more DPS, and be within the radius of the Transcendence.
Oh, beautiful pick off by Mistakes. He's got those dragons now, trying to hit some heads. Samurai D backing off rather sharpish. He's going to have to. He's extremely low. His healer's heart coming back from the grave as Claire does end up spawning, but 20 seconds now remaining, and Mistakes, he's still got, oh no, in the dunk. No, you don't. Depp finally finding that shield bash away, but Tony's going to chase after him, and now Claire, I don't know what you're doing, trying to meet his, he's trying to meet the, creature in the
He's got to beat the time, Jaws.
6 seconds now remain. Shadowburn still with the rocket barrage. The dragons get sent through the building, but this might be done. Contested the card is, but the problem is you've still got Shadowburn to deal with. Teo does manage to find the kill in the end, and he's still got the grab. He gets eaten by Chow. He gets the mech also from Kenmo. Mistakes kills Kenmo off also. Ain comes in with a clutch resurrection, and now it's all Samurai D on the cart. Russia are gonna find the 4th map and end the series 3-1.
Chow there eating up the grab, capping off a fantastic series from himself. Really showed himself to be a fantastic off-tank. And Russia, despite a shaky start on Oasis, going down 2-0 across those 2 maps, will manage to claim our series 3-1.
What a crazy affair. Chow has just done fantastic on the Diva. We talked about how Shadowburn and how much defense and how much priority he was getting on the Pharah. Defense matrices, even Trance is used there to help that rocket barrage get off. And this 3-3, one thing it does really well is running into other tanks and just beating them senseless. But the problem is, when you're against these double projectiles, it's incredibly hard to actually get them out of the sky or even on the ground if you're Mistakes on the hand zone.
Yeah, some people believe the control is what we like to call the great equalizer amongst teams, and that anyone can really take anyone can take a control map off pretty much anyone, because you can rely pretty much just on mechanical skill, and you can just try and play on the point and not have to worry about in-depth strategic strat calling and stuff that you may get from like the higher tier coaches that are available to Overwatch League players. I wonder if this does set a precedent for our later games in the Overwatch World Cup, that they could be lost, or rather underdogs could claim control maps.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out. That is a good question to ask. However, Japan still claiming a map, still showing up also. I mean, the defense is the thing that I have to cast my mind back to on Voskaya. They had over 6 minutes and they forced Russia into overtime to finally get the completion.
Yeah, they did. They managed to cycle their ultimates so well.
It was actually insane. And we're going to toss over to the floor here. We do have Mistakes on the ground, just to give us a small interview.
All right, I'm down here with Mistakes from Team Russia. How you doing, buddy?
We won. Great.
All right. Yeah, of course. You have to be after coming back 3-1 like that. Well, let's talk about Game 1 first. Game 1, you guys ended up falling to Japan there. And what was going on? What were some of the challenges that you guys were having against Japan in Game 1?
I think Japan is like full roster. They played before, so their synergy is really good. It was kind of tough for us in Game 1, but then we understood what we need to do against them, and I mean, it worked very well.
And you, in particular, started dominating everybody. You were just did you just feel like you had to kind of like step it up? And also I understand too, you have 4 members from Windstrike on this team as well. So, you know, did you have like a hard time gelling with them, getting like used to playing with them coming into Incheon?
I think the fact that only me and Shadowburn play in an Overwatch League and the other guys play in Contenders, it's really tough for us because they used to play like on a team before, so like they have strategies, and me and Shadowburn, we have different opinion how we should play the game because like Contenders and Overwatch League in terms of meta and just how people play is completely different. So it's kind of tough for us to like get everything together and you know like play as a team.
Do you feel like it's getting better though?
Yeah, I mean we did not really have time to practice that much because of us, me and Shadowburn had playoffs and guys played Contenders playoffs, so you know. Well, I mean, every day is getting better for us.
And final question, Redemption. You guys going to make it to BlizzCon? You were knocked out by Russians were knocked out by South Korea last year. You guys going to make it to BlizzCon this year?
I mean, I'm not gonna say yes 100% because no one knows, right? But I would say we have decent chances, honestly.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, Mistakes. Always a pleasure to speak to you. But let's go ahead and send it back to the casters to break down that game.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy, and obviously Mistakes as well.
He's humble.
Yeah, he's humble. Don't want to say we're going to make it to BlizzCon, but they're looking pretty good, considering, like you mentioned, they haven't had a crazy amount of time to practice. Remember, Windstrike did have to play for those playoffs games over in EU Contenders. And I got to say, even no matter what he says, they're still looking good.
Yeah, they are, especially Mistakes are on with Tracer, really putting on a masterclass on how to use the pulsar, and that can really differentiate the best Tracers from the good Tracers. The use of the pulsar. Anyone can be accurate with pulse pistols, but being able to lob that bomb into the correct position and really understand enemy positioning as to where it is going to be the most useful is great.
Yeah, and the one thing about the Tracer too is you don't normally run it into the 3-3 either. Can you get shut down by the Brigitte, and not normally any squishy targets can get taken out, but Mistakes made it work. Pulse bomb onto the tank, sends them low, and his tanks just dive on in. Got a few replays for you as well to clip over that game if you just missed it and you're just joining us. Kenmo, oh my goodness. Okay, Kenmo was a star on this point as well. Depp, just crazy player. We talked to the team before and they said, we asked them, who do you want to keep your eye on? Who do you want us to like kind of point out and just the plays that people would make? And it was Depp, and you can see exactly why. On Oasis Control, he was an absolute monster.
He's an absolute madman, disgusting, taking out player after player, not letting Shadowburn escape with his life there. No mercy for him or for Egg. And you can see exactly why everyone was just so pleased to recommend Depp as such a great DPS. And I think the Japanese team, they did pretty well today.
Yeah, absolutely. They did performed admirably for sure, but Shadowburn as well, just popping both out of the air. That is something you don't see every day. A two-piece taking out the Pharah Mercy combo. Another big tank player also we're seeing on your screens right now, Samurai D. His Winston play, especially on this defense, was just absolutely stellar. You jump onto the back line, forcing Main's Transcendence over and over again, setting up plays like this for Depp.
And Depp was always there to try and clean up after him, and Depp was such a varied player. He brought out this Genji, he played for Brigitte, he played for Tracer, played for Widow, and I think when you look at that sort of versatility on a player, that it's incredibly valuable. But this is really where we saw Mistakes come to turn this series around. It seemed like after Eichenwald that Japan could potentially bring this back. Mistakes, he just decided to try and crush their spirit by bringing out such an effective Tracer here.
That was a beautiful little 2K, just punishing Claire for trying to actually help out Depp. And as soon as Claire went down, it was easy pickings on the Zenyatta, let's be honest, and that tracking through the air was something special as well. And like I mentioned before, into 3-3, Tracer not normally considered very good because that's exactly what can happen. He almost got one combo there by Depp on the Brigitte, but Mistakes making it work, punishing the Zenyatta, and also landing these big pulse bombs on the tanks and on the squishy targets, exactly like the Mercy.
Yeah, and you can land pulse bombs pretty consistently on big targets like D.Va and Reinhardt, but if you can land them consistently on small targets where the hitbox is more svelte and hard to try and get that sort of stick on, that's where you can really get the huge value out of that pulse bomb. Now that its damage value has been reduced from 400 to 300, doesn't even kill tanks all the time.
Beautiful eat there, you heard the voice line, denied. Chow eating the grab. right at the very end to secure their map win and to secure their series win. Now, one man that was on your screen not just a second ago was Shadowburn. He was up in the skies, sending out that barrage, and you could see instantly, as soon as that happened, he called for help. Transcendence came out. We saw that Matrix as well from Chao to keep him alive throughout the entire thing. And it is all about this tank line, especially when you have this Farah, because she is kind of vulnerable up in the air if Aang does have to dip down and heal some other targets. But you got your tanks, they've got defensive utility for a reason, and that's exactly what you used it for.
And only that, just great game sense that you can call to go that low of a Fab Barrage so you are within the radius of a Transcendence. But you know what's coming next, Jaws, and
oh boy, Finland
it's a big one.
and South Korea coming up on your screens very soon. We'll see in a bit.